Before I dive into this intense message, I just want to say thank you all for being here on the channel. You're amazing. A lot of you have asked incredible questions. So thank you for commenting on the videos. It helps others see it, and it helps as a validation. Sometimes when somebody places a comment, others are able to read the comment and be able to relate that to the self. And that's a powerful gift. In the interim between videos, please feel free to check out all of the videos that have already been posted on the channel. You will 150%, I'm seeing the 100 emoji. You will find that there are videos from the last year that resonate for you now. That's because we're operating in the quantum field. So please feel free to check out those messages. For those of you who have been inquiring about personal readings and sessions, I do offer those. Please go to my website, erinchandler.com, and you can find the link for that in the video description box below. Now let's dive into this message. For whomever this is for that is being fast-tracked with the divine, I feel like it's being fast-tracked in life. It is being fast-tracked in so many modalities. Like, there is no part of you that is going to be untouched. It is a total eclipse of the heart for some of you. For some of you, it's a total eclipse of the fear. I didn't realize this was going to go into the eclipse, but I'm being shown the weavers, and they are meant to be as one in this reading, interwoven. To the person, you could look at this as a portal or a fast track of an eclipsing of one version of you into another. And yet you cannot bloom or blossom or fly into this other version of you unless you have taken stock. That's the first thing. And this taking stock of who you are, where you've been, gathering all these pieces. So taking stock is an important part of the process. But also there's this idea of understanding that the previous version of you, or up until this point, that survival, that version of you was required to survive in the circumstances that you were in. However, in an eclipsing of one state of being into another, moving into this new version, you will utilize all of the different aspects of your journey previously, is what I am hearing. You're going to be utilizing all those different versions of you, all the different survival modes, the understandings. All of those different pieces and parts of your journey are actually going to radically catapult you. Wow. Radically catapult you into a change, into this newer version of you. So it's almost like while we're evolving into this new version of you, you're also recognizing that without the versions of you, and I'm hearing incarnations, including all of your previous incarnations, without all of these rolling together, being the base foundations, being the base experiences, being the base nuances, this new beautiful swan is the image that I'm getting, and I have the swan card in front of me. This beautiful swan, or this beautiful eagle, or beautiful hawk, or beautiful being taking flight. They can't take flight without these base experiences and the process. And it's interesting because for a few days now, I've been getting a lot of intuitive hits about the process and individuals' different perspectives and process, and the different layers and different structures and different areas that we must perceive during our own individual unique process. And everyone's process is unique in the way that we move through it in our experiences. And yet there are still very common structured places of where you are in terms of the process. So you may not follow the linear process, and in all honesty, who does? And yet the process, there are similar rooms. They're showing me a house. It's like we go into similar rooms during the process. It's the same room that we have in the process, but each of us might view the room differently. Each of us will go to the room at different places on the process. So it's like this giant house of self where we have 22 rooms. I'm hearing there are 22 rooms in the house, and each of you will have visited in your process different rooms at different times with different perspectives, donning different lenses, with different emotions, with different wounds. But there's still 22 houses, if that makes sense. Sorry, 22 rooms, correction, 22 rooms. And in the process of ascension or evolution or healing, or in the process of evolving, just in any state, or if it's grief. These are all processes of ascension. And sometimes I feel like this word ascension gets really up into this hierarchy idea of spiritual essence, or we're ascending into a higher level of being. But what's ascension? I usually describe it as it's the descension of the higher self into the physical body, embodied, moving as your higher self as one. That's the ascension process. But you could also look at it as a graduation from one school of thought into a more evolved school of thought, kind of like we go through grade school, then high school, then college or university. Some people are going through the hard knocks school of life from one evolution or one state into another. There's no right or wrong. These are simply ways to acclimate or logically understand the ascension process. Everyone is always moving through ascension, regardless of what you're doing or how you're doing it. Everybody is always creating spiritual things. Whether you think washing the dishes is spiritual or not, you're a spiritual being having a human experience, which means every essence, every nuance. You are spirit, which means spirit is rolling through you and everything you do. So there's no need to separate one person's spiritual and one person's not. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience, whether it is viewed that way or not. For example, this is so interesting that this is coming through right now. For example, I'm being told to reference, there are some people who appear to be, quote, not spiritually awakened, unquote. But what if their process or their spiritual being, it has requested in this lifetime to have a human experience where it is not about any of those things of spirituality, but rather the real human ingrained 3D experience? We have to recognize that different people are in different places of the process and releasing the judgment of that process. Because remember, for someone to be at a highly evolutionized state usually indicates they're able to look at all the other various states of the process and recognize they have been there in all those places. Being at a certain state of the evolutionary process is sometimes an illusion, I want to say. It's how Spirit's bringing it through. Understanding that does not mean that that person is better than the other, or more awakened, or more spiritual, or more ascended, or more aligned, or any of those things. Usually people who are of that state, they recognize that everybody's playing their own part in their own sector, right? We don't look at somebody who's 10 feet behind us, let's say on the journey, and say, well, it has to be of this viewpoint because of this, this, and this. No, we look at them and say, holy crap, I recognize that process and that step I was on. And man, is that step so freaking important. Without that step, they're never going to get to this step and this step and this step. It's like this recognition of, when you move along, let's say you've moved up 12 steps, for lack of a better term. Usually we need a hierarchy as a linear construct to be able to mark where we're at in order to understand where we're going. And that's the only reason I'm using this reference, because I don't necessarily, in the spiritual realms, I don't view it as a hierarchy. And they're simply dimensions or perspectives of the self and of others as well in this crazy experience, marrying the physical and the spiritual, bridging the two worlds as one and walking with one foot in one world and your other foot in the other. It's bringing the two together as a force of nature is what I am hearing. At times on the journey, we hit a step where it's like, I know this and I know that, and there's an ego. And I know I've talked about this months and months ago on the channel, but I'm being called to broach the subject once more. We have to hit that state. It's an important part of the process, just as we have to hit the learning state, the I understand state, the expanding state, then it's the integration state. We have the hermit state. Look at the journey of the tarot, I want to say, right? The tarot cards, where we have all the minor arcana and then we have the major arcana. And each of those cards represent a step on the journey, a place that you must go, a place in your process. So moving back, moving back into, I'm hearing the person who's being fast-tracked spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in all facets, ways, and shapes and forms. You have visited all 22 rooms in the house at some point on your journey. Whoever this is, I feel like you've had mountain after mountain after mountain after mountain. It's almost like you have experiences. You climb the mountain very quickly through the experiences, but so too do you come to the understandings of the integration and the wisdom of the experiences very quickly. So whoever this is, you've been being prepared your entire life. And we all are being prepared for the next day and the next day and the next day. Everything we do in the previous days prepares us for the next days. Some people are doing it as fate versus destiny. Some people are consciously sowing the seeds, preparing for tomorrow. And other people are unconsciously moving through karmic experiences or life experiences, which so too are also, even if you're not aware, sowing the seeds, preparing you for what's ahead in your journey. So for example, this person who's being fast-tracked big time, I have a giant bullseye in the room. You may feel like life has been blowing you to all these different places and experiences, but this is also another form of the process. You're just coming at it from a different angle. So don't have fear over the difference between your process and somebody else. We have this idea that we're always have to be consciously creating and consciously sowing seeds. And while that is valuable, there are some rare souls on this planet who are actually doing that through their experiential process or coming at the process from a different way. All paths lead home. I'm seeing the path card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. You have your own path, as we all do. And some people follow a path that there is no path because it's your path alone. It has never been done before in this way, shape, or form. And that's what your soul came here to experience, rather than following the beaten path or the regular process. Or first we go to the bathroom, then we go to the kitchen, then we go to the dining room, the different houses of the self or the experiences. Your path is not like that. You're having a radical, rapid transformation, and you're just being rapidly advanced. And that actually, if you look back at your life, I'm being shown a mirror. If you look back at your life and mirror reflection of it, just pondering on it, understanding it, observing it, you're going to quickly realize that you've been moving through rapid ascension your entire life. You have this massive experience, and then you have all the integration, wisdom, and understanding. And then in a couple of years later, you have another massive experience, and it creates all this wisdom and understanding. It's like one thing after the other after the other. It's like you're a pro at climbing mountains, getting to the top of the mountain, coming down the mountain, recognizing your victory of it, and then suddenly there's another mountain right in front of you is what I'm hearing. And it's like you climb that next mountain. Whoever this is, you have adaptability. Your ability to adapt, a chameleon is coming in. I'm also hearing this is also for the shapeshifter and the Hyoka too, but your ability to adapt, transform, to move through different layers and aspects. Your gumption in life is like next level, whoever this is. You are an absolute example to others of what a human being, I have emotion with this, whoever this message is for. You're a living example of what a human being is capable of. To be able to climb the mountains that you have climbed, to be able to go to the top, come down, glean the wisdom, and face the next mountains is like, wow, I'm in awe of whoever spirit this is. I need to take a moment to breathe. I feel like whoever this message is for, perhaps you don't recognize that, but when you stop and observe in this moment, you're taking all of those things because that actually was a rapid process of evolution and advancement, but perhaps you viewed it as constantly being stuck in the mud, constantly being faced with trauma after trauma over ridiculous experiences after ridiculous experiences. And part of your process is to view it that way because that's what most of the human condition experiences. But in truth, when we move above into the spiritual essences, we start to bring forth, we start to observe from that six-dimensional aspect of the process or the journey that we have been on. You have always been in rapid transformation, but because you've been in the throes or the underdepths or the depths of the ocean, constantly going up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain victory, down the mountain, up the mountain victory, bringing down the pearls of wisdom, because you have been doing that so rapidly in this life, it's almost like it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Holy crap, I am evolving into this version of me that is the culmination of all the victories from all the tops of the mountains. I'm seeing you reflect back on your life saying, I just stood on 12 mountains. I just stood on 22 mountains, but I didn't really see it because I was always going down, taking the pearls and going up into the next mountain. There's like this area or clearing. I'm being shown psychically this metaphor of a clearing of it is a clearing in the meadow, a clearing in the midst of the forest, circled with the trees, where all the animals come to take stock, come to show you that you have been the eagle, the stag, the swan, you have been the possum, the raccoon, you have been the little bird, you have been the essence of each of the birds and the animals that stand to curve around the circle all around you, showing you the different states of who you have been. This is for a medicine man or a medicine woman, a healer. I'm seeing a card from a deck that I don't know. It's called the Healer of the Ages. Some may attune to that as karmic ancestral healing. Some of it may attune to that as, I don't know what you'll attune to it as, but I'm hearing the Healer of the Ages is really a rapid transformation. It is as if your life has been, you're being fast-tracked because you've climbed all the mountains over and over and over again to glean all the wisdom and all the victories. And whoever this message is for, oh my dear heart, I love you. I have my daughters singing for you, Ava in spirit. I believe I can fly. I have an entire chorus or a room of spirit here, just wanting to show each and every one of you, your guides, your loved ones passed on, your higher selves standing in the room with me, wanting to all show you as you climb each mountain, as you come down with every pearl. It's like spirit is showing you they are just, they want you to win. Spirit wants you to win. They want you to pull back the curtains of you and just stand in this understanding of the gloriousness, awe-inspiring spirit that you are, the light that you are. It is for you to show you in this eclipsing of one state of being into another, sitting in the power, in the seat of the power of the self, moving through that ascension process, suddenly understanding you were ascending the whole time. It's like you are taking all the tops of the victories, tops of the mountains where you have been and seen yourself, and allowing yourself to sit in this middle of this clearing with your 22 white flags. I'm seeing with your 22 white flags being honored in all the realms with the different animal spirits in the spirit realms, recognizing and seeing yourself that it is no longer about climbing mountains. Now you are stepping into the mode of the embodiment or sharing all the pearls and wisdoms. You must celebrate. I'm seeing the card victory, Archangel Sandalphon, the card of victory, and understanding that you're now going to be outlaying and sharing the embodiment of it. It's no longer sixth dimension. It's no longer about the mountains. So it's like coming from a sixth dimensional perspective where you're able to utilize what some conscious creators would call, I'm consciously sowing seeds because I consciously want this outcome and I am manifesting this specific world, utilizing the energies and the physical planes to my advantage or to evolve myself in a state of growth and evolution. Whoever is being rapidly fast-tracked, we started this message, Spirit is saying, to acknowledge for you, to accept, to lean in, to let go of any fear, to recognize you are in such an incredible it's a transformation of all transformations is what I'm hearing. And you will love who you become when you suddenly recognize you've been becoming it the whole time. You've just been pulling from all the different facets of the diamonds, gleaning one after the other, after the other, after the other. Catch my breath. You've been unable to catch your breath, but you're sitting in the clearing, catching your breath. Harness this energy. Allow it to roll through you. Allow it to activate you. Allow it to bring you into this culmination. Releasing, I'm seeing the 10 of Swords card, the 5. I'm seeing all the 5 cards from the minor arcana in the tarot. Forgive me, I'm not a tarot reader, so If you attune to Tarot, you'll know what all the 5 means. I'm seeing 5 as a halfway point to the 10 of the minor arcana is what Spirit is explaining right now. All the 5s represent change in mental, spiritual, in the heart, financial, like everything, spiritual, physical, however you attune to it, it's all of them. And you're moving to the 10, which is the completion, which is the eclipsing into the major arcana, I guess you could say. Spirit is saying we're doing it all at once. Understand that you're eclipsing from one state of being into another, from all the 5s into the 10s, which is the completion. And they're specifically referencing the 10 of swords for somebody. And I feel like each mountain, 10 mountains, 12 mountains, however many it is for you, represents one sword. So not only are you sitting in the clearing with all the white flags, you're also sitting holding all the swords. And the eclipsing is saying, here are all the swords that resulted in all my victories, in all my achievements and accomplishments. These are achievements and accomplishments that are behind closed doors. That's what I'm hearing. They're achievements and accomplishments that are not ones that are, oh, hey, I did a TEDx talk, or, oh, hey, I built this $1 million business, or, oh, hey, I did this, or, oh, these are a whole other kind of accomplishments and achievements. And I'm hearing remove the 3D realm or experience right now for this eclipsing of you. Remove those ideas or concepts of what's successful or what's an accomplishment based on the physical construct of the world, and recognize your soul accomplishments. Because whoever this message is for, that's where your power lies right now. Your soul accomplishments set the stage for all the 3D accomplishments, I guess you could say. And I don't want to take away from those 3D accomplishments, because those are massive feats in and of themselves. But whoever this message is for, this is such a rapid transformation. You're not even going to recognize who you are, and yet savor the moment. Savor this moment as you sit in the clearing and in this energy, as you take stock. I'm seeing you literally being in such a state of power that you're consciously holding all 10 swords and holding all 10 flags. You're consciously doing this. You are so aware. And these represent spiritual, mental, physical, all 5 elements of the elementals. It represents all realms. It also represents the awareness of all the different dimensions, transdimensional beings. This is your activation to move into the state of complete embodiment of all those different dimensional states, a complete embodiment of all the pearls, a complete embodiment of the understanding of all the swords. It's no longer your power within you divided. It's your power within you unified. Think about the amplification. I'm watching you now just like rise up above. That's the healer of the ages. And when you are in that frequency or that energy within yourself, there's no discord or attempting to shun either the light of you or the dark of you, the power of you or the weakness of you. It's unifying. It's being unified within the self, becoming one with the unified field as well, because there's such congruency in your energetic field. And the reason this is important, like culmination, let's go back. You've been going through a rapid transformation because almost all of your experiences have been in that duality of dark and light, up and down. Maybe it's grief and joy. Maybe it's hate and love. It could be anything along the spectrum of all the different emotions, but they're mountain after mountain after mountain. And for somebody on here, they're multiple life experiences. Like some people have really strong life experiences in one area, but whoever this message is for, I feel like you've been through the ringer, meaning you've been through multiple different life experiences that most souls do not experience in one incarnation, one after the other, after the other, after the other. I'm hearing we're so proud of you. There's like a chorus in the room that they're so proud of you, because that ultimately makes you the healer of the ages. And what's a healer? A healer isn't somebody that goes around and heals other people. And while that is a dynamic or a function of a healer, What's more important is a healer is somebody who has healed themselves and shares that healed frequency, that unification of the self, the re-embodiment, the healed state. And that frequency, when you embody that, naturally heals other people. You're healing an age or an era of discontent, of discord, of disempowerment, of confusion, of chaos. You're a healer of the ages, and you're here for the new earth. So whatever process you're in right now, for whoever this message is for, you are indeed coming into a great state of self-empowerment, sovereignty, and it lights up the courage in everyone around you to stand in that power and that sovereignty too. And that's what allows you to be a healer of the ages. I'm hearing this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So take that as it resonates, my beautiful friends. But I'm going to close this channel here. I hope that this resonated. Let me know. I know a lot of us are in transition, in transformation, in the midst of ascension. You're in between lands, moving from one state to another state. And sometimes that's, a little unsteady, a bit of an unsteady place. So just know that you can trust the process. This is a radical and rapid transformation you're experiencing. Surrender to it, surrender to your becoming, surrender into those things, because the divine has got you all wrapped up and holding you through this entire process. As always, beautiful souls, I'm sending you love, light, peace, healing, transcendence. And if you wish to connect with me for a personal read or sign up for the waitlist for the upcoming intuitive courses, the link for that is in the pinned comments. And I will see you all in the next video.